Back again for another video. On today's topic, we'll be discussing the need versus want. Why a man desires a woman who needs him. I think this is very important to discuss because a lot of women seem to be in a mindset where they don't understand why they need a man. They know why they want a man, but they don't understand why they need a man. The collective consciousness of the female collective is far removed from remembering why they needed a man. So now it's devolved into want. But this is very detrimental to women because it puts them in a position where that same energy is going to be reflected to them. For a woman who wants a man versus needs a man, she's going to get a different type of energy from him, because the highest point in which a man operates with a woman in meeting her needs and wants, he's going to prioritize her needs over her wants all day. And if he sees that you need him for something else, but you only want him for a specific thing, he's only going to match that energy. And what I'm seeing is that women would rather have a man that gives them the energy that they need, but they don't want to present themselves as needing that man. If you understand what I mean. Okay, what that looks like is they want a man who is constantly, trying to improve and better their lives and give them all this energy in regards to how he treats her, how he handles her, how he talks to her, etc., etc. But all that energy that they necessarily want comes from the need position of a man fulfilling that within a woman, right? But they're going about it again at the wrong way. They're presenting, oh, I just want you for this, or I just want you for that. I don't need you for anything. There's a common thing that's going around that I think that women are picking up on, the strong woman thing, right? There's a woman, and I'll see if I can find the clip and I'll probably stitch it in here somewhere. I don't know. But there's a woman who says that we need to drop down, and it's an actor, I forgot her name, but she said we need to get rid of the "we are strong women" trope. She said there's nothing wrong with being resilient. There's nothing wrong with being resistant in regards to setbacks and handling situations, negative energy, etc. I'm just paraphrasing here, but she was like, no one comes to the aid of those who are strong. No one comes to the aid of those who present themselves as not needing any help. Yeah.
First of all, it is highly impossible for any human to be super strong. It's just impossible. And I was always leery of that term, strong black woman, because it dehumanizes us. It makes us seem like we don't hurt. It makes us seem like, oh, they got it, they can get over it. It makes us seem like we don't need help. And if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of our family?
Get where I'm going with this? Once again, a woman who presents herself in a position that she does not need a man. Men, we are the ones who make things happen in regards to the things that women cannot make happen. If women don't come to the table in necessity of needing a man for specific things in regards to what she cannot do, those things will never get done because she cannot do them herself. And if you don't need a man for anything, then once again, you're just going to be running around in circles looking for a man who is going to give you energy, which is more than likely a simp. They're looking for a masculine simp. If there's ever such a thing, because I don't think a high masculine simp, I don't think there's a such thing as a high masculine simp, but that's simply what they're looking for. They're looking for the dichotomy again. Remember, if you listen to my videos regularly, I talk about these things again. I say this all the time, but they're looking for a man who is in contradiction in his existence. They're looking for a man who's a simp, but is able to fulfill the needs that they want. And the reason why they need him to be a simp is because they're not giving the energy in regards to to addressing this man in such a way that they are presenting themselves as needing him. And therefore he is reciprocating and meeting that need. They just present themselves as wanting him and expect that this man is going to meet their needs. See the problem with that? Oh man. And it came to me in an instant. I was talking to a woman about this. We were talking about, I said to her, the collective consciousness of women has forgotten what men are necessarily for. They've forgotten. So they just devolved everything to a need. And I told her, but here's the problem with that. Once again, men in a hierarchy sense would choose a woman that needs him over a woman that wants him. Why? Because men generally understand what their purpose is. They know that their purpose here on this earth isn't meant for recreational purposes only, because that's what women would rather devolve men to. Once again, they don't need men for anything. When you need something, that is not a recreational thing. I mean, you could turn it into a recreational thing, but its purpose on its face is not recreational at all. They need a man for companionship. They need a man for the things that they don't necessarily want to do as women. But once again, these things have been turned into wants because they would rather be by themselves a lot of times because society has become so cushiony and so safe. They don't need a man for protection. They don't need a man for provision because for a long time in human history, that's what men exactly did. But men have collectively made the society in such a way that it promotes a woman being able to be without a man. So they don't understand anymore in the collective consciousness and the historical factors of why men were necessary. So it's devolved down to a need. And a lot of women scoff at this. They say, well, you only want a woman that needs you. This is kind of what the pushback is about the Bang Bros. About to say Bang Bros. The Passport Bros. And the crazy thing, I haven't watched porn in forever. Now that I think about it. Why was I going to say that? But anyway. Because that's what a lot of people are calling them now. But anyways. That's what the problem is when it comes to the Passport Bros, because that's their main argument. If you listen to the rhetoric, that is in there somewhere, some shape or form, that, you only want to go to other countries that are poor and where the women are desperate and destitute. They need you. Right? And women, even while speaking this, they're not realizing what they're describing. And they're not understanding why this is occurring. It's occurring because the women don't need the men. Men are more drawn to women that need them. Not only for personal preference, but in desirability of having someone who is a counterbalance to your existence. Women seem to, especially women in the West, seem to be having this movement of where they think that they don't need a counterbalance. Everybody wants their ideal mate, but the problem is the chances of you meeting that person, especially when that person hasn't been selected for you and vetted for you previously, like they would do with families in old days. You have to guess. I mean, really think about this. For the modern day man and woman, you have to go out in public and you have to find a complete stranger, and you have to form such a bond and, connection with them that they will love you more than people who have been in your life forever, such as your family and your friends. Isn't that crazy? What's the chances of that happening, right? I mean, we see the ill effects of these things now, and for a long time we've seen these things, but it didn't used to be this way because families used to grow up together. We used to be very in close proximity. We used to have only a small selection of people. A lot of people think that the reason why relationships are failing now is because of the abundance of choice. And I would definitely agree with that. But it's more so that we don't have any familiarity or common settings with the people that we are paired up with. People are very mobile nowadays, and I'm not saying like they never were, but it's become more increasingly abundant that people can just pick up and move to a completely another state and have complete dispositions than the people that they are around currently. I ran into plenty of situations where, certain mannerisms and things that were indoctrinated in certain families of women that I've been with, they seen them as common sense, whereas I did not. We didn't grow up together or in the same environment, so we have nothing in common when it comes to, once again, those subtleties and, those niches of how we live our lives, right? Where someone has grown up, they think that saying good morning and hi to everybody is customary, where go to New York City and try that. That's the difference between the North and the South right there in most cases. But once again, you match those two people again, and that creates instant conflict because they have no relativity in environments and families that they grew up in. So the unfamiliarity grows between these two, even though the physical attraction may be there and they may have some intrinsic attraction there, but there are still those underlining nuances, if you will, about how people live their lives and grew up. But I'm veering off the topic a little bit here. But anyways, when it comes to, finding this person, what's your chances? What's your chances of really listening? Listen to this. You've known your mother and your father all your life. Most of you, some of you, not all, right? You've known your siblings all your life. You've known your childhood friends all your life. And these people know you. They know who you are. They know what type of person you are, right? They love you for who you are. And this is a strong connection. Your love for your parents is a strong connection. Your love for your siblings is a strong connection. Not in every situation, but a lot. Normalities, right? But you're expected to go out here and find someone who is a complete stranger to you, who's supposed to love you for the rest of your life, who comes more than likely from a different place, a different family, a different lifestyle than you do, and supposed to have a stronger connection and bond on an intimate level than you do with anybody else that you've known all your life. What's the chances of that? Especially given the climate that we're in. This is the real reason why relationships are not working anymore. Because we veered too far away from how we structurally did things and socially did things as communities and families. That's one of the key factors that is very detrimental and the reason why things are not lasting anymore. People are not raised together. Families are not selecting mates for their children anymore. Right? And once again, women have lost the ability to figure out why they need men. It's part of their vetting tools, actually. It's supposed to be. When the transition happened from when families gave more rights to the children for selecting their mates, they also schooled them on how to properly select a mate. That stuff has been watered down so much. I ran into so many women that say their parents didn't teach them anything about finances, about, life, about hell, getting insurance, little stupid stuff like that, let alone finding this stranger out here amongst these billions of people who is going to love you for the rest of your life and have a stronger bond with you than anyone else. Of course, you're only going to want a man. You don't know why you need him. You barely know this guy. Never seen him in your life before. You don't know why you need him at all. Of course you don't. But the problem is women are not realizing this. They're not recognizing that there is a flaw inherently in their own autonomy to select their mate. They're missing pieces. They have no more proper vetting tools. So men go where places where women need men. That's just what happens. You don't need me. I'll find someone who does. Right? That's what men are generally saying now. And it has nothing to do with necessarily a financial status of a woman. Hell, there are women who have millions of dollars who need a man. I just recently ran into a woman, and she may listen to this later in the future, and I'm not going to give her name up, of course. I just recently ran into a woman who not too long ago had close to $1 million cash, tax-free. Okay. I'm not going to give the details about how she got that, but it was totally legal. And she blew it all in a matter of years. She has nothing. She has a few things, but nothing of noteworthy importance to the tune of nearly $1 million. Okay. She needed a man. She needed a man. And once again, any woman who stands against what I'm saying here are the women who do not realize what I'm talking about when I say that she needed a man, even though she's close to being a millionaire. They don't understand what men are meant for anymore. And they're going to continue to compound and compact this issue because they're no longer teaching the children what men are meant for, let alone anything noteworthy about how to progress in life. This is the part of the reason why there was such a boom in the manosphere, is because men, we're always looking for solutions. We're like, this can't be life, some Jay-Z, you know what I mean? This can't be life. There has to be a solution. There has to be a way. There has to be something to help me out of these situations that I just have no idea about, that I see that other men are going to as well. The advent of the manosphere was the best thing that happened to men in the history of men in modern time. My opinion. It's the best thing that happened to men. Because if you notice, if you look around, and I'm not a real big history buff, as I've said before, but if you look through a lot of Western history, a lot of the movements were started by men, and they started by groups of men who shared a certain ideological view. And it was normally the government and other bodies, especially women, who fought against the standing up of these things by men. They didn't want them to hang out together. They tried to outlaw certain things. Like, I think it was in France, if I'm not mistaken, they tried to outlaw pubs and stuff, where men would come and chill and hang out and discuss these ideological views and these political belief systems that were niche and also taboo for that time, that stood up against the status quo. Remember that women nest. They don't want anything to change. But these men, they were spearheading change in how we access and believe the reality to be and how it should be moving forward. And of course, we know France went through a couple wars because of it, right? Civil wars at that. And we see this popping up many times. We've seen this in Germany. We've seen this in Poland. We've seen this in Russia. We've seen this like I said, all across the West. We've seen this. This is why we get the pushback in the manosphere, because now we're representing an ideological view that goes against the status quo of what society says is comfortable. Because the men are no longer comfortable with just being wanted. They're going to give some ideological and political pushback eventually. We're starting with the ideology, which is normally how political systems get changed and new beliefs start popping up and things become law. It starts with ideological view. And that's why they're trying to suppress this spear, if you will. Because they would rather have men in a state of being wanted and never needed. And if you're a man, you understand why that is. But anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Patreon. But until next time, this has been the Wolf and Beta Close. May you have a good day. And of course, peace be with you.